Walker.
Here.
Mike Flood.
Here.
Tony Cook absent with notice. Diane Danaskis.
Here.
Thank you. Next, we have the minutes, our regular meeting minutes from the 25th. If anybody has any feeling on those. Motion to accept if somebody would like to.
So moved. Okay. So moved.
Okay. So we have a motion by Mr. Danaskis and supported by Mr. Flood. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes, they're accepted. Then we have minutes for the special early meeting that we had. If there's no concern, same situation.
Move to approve the special meeting minutes as presented.
And I'll support. Moved by Mr. Flood, supported by myself. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're good to go there. Now, tonight's agenda review and approval. Does anybody have a concern with tonight's or any additions or changes?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the agenda as submitted.
Thank you. And support. Motion by Mr. Flood, supported by Mr. Danaskis to put tonight's agenda into place. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're all set there. ZBA business. First case, AB 2022-15, James Garris, 215 North Conklin Road, Sidwell 09-01-403-014. Petitioner is seeking two variances from zoning ordinance 78, Article 6, Section 6.04 N3. Number one is a 23.5-foot front yard setback variance from the required 40-foot to install an in-ground pool 16.5 feet from the front property line along the golf court. And number two is a 30-foot front yard setback variance from the required 40-foot to install an in-ground pool 10-foot from the front property line along Orion Terrace. You are the applicant, I assume?
I'm James's son.
Okay, you're representing him then?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you could let the board know what he would like to do and the placement of it and things of that nature?
He submitted the drawings, didn't he?
Yep, got him.
We'd like to follow those drawings.
Okay. Board members? Okay, I'll start out. Just one thing.
Okay.
Have you seen the information that we have?
Briefly.
Okay, what I'm curious about is a handwritten drawing that is about, let's see, 3/4 the way through. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering, should have found it already, excuse me. Got to be in there. What I'm wondering if the drawing is to scale, this one here in particular. If you'd like to take a look at it. Because I see the distances that he has, and on paper they look good, but in person that lot looks awfully small. Now, he's got a rough situation.
He does.
Tell you what, if you want to take that back to the podium, go ahead, because if you have anything to say, you're supposed to be recorded. He's surrounded by front yards. Mm-hmm. That makes it difficult.
Yes.
All three of the road frontages qualify as front yards. So he has to keep going for the same variance on different pieces of ground. But I just don't, I had trouble seeing it. And I guess that doesn't tell you much, but.
Right. I do know that the measurements on this drawing are accurate, going from the property lines to the water's edge.
Okay. Board members, Ms. Flood?
Mr. Chair,
Ms. Walker?
I didn't see any stakes. Were there stakes put in there?
Nothing was staked.
Because I agree with the chairman. It didn't make sense because of it's been up so many times. I've been there about 3 different times, and every time I kept saying, this must not be the right place because the area involved in those 3 front yard setbacks is so small that I didn't see how a pool of that size would fit in there. So you never had it surveyed by a professional surveyor or anything like that?
There has not been a professional survey.
Okay,
I do know,
go ahead.
he plans to remove the deck. I don't know if that would, help you visualize what he's trying to do, and, there would be more space if the deck was gone. There's just gonna be a small staircase coming out of the back patio area. If you see the drawing where it says house, in the 13-foot distance from the edge of the house to the water's edge, that's where the current wood deck is. And he'll be removing that and just building a small staircase right off the sliding glass door.
Yeah, thank you.
So it'll give you quite a bit more space.
Flood.
I see in your paper, the pool is going to have a power safety cover and a privacy fence. What type of privacy fence is going around that pool? Do you have any idea?
Yes, it'll be the same type of fence that's currently along the north side of the house, or north side of the back property.
Is that a solid fence that you can't see through?
It is?
The 6
You
foot.
say privacy fence, to me, that's a solid fence.
Yes.
What my concern is, when I look at your setbacks here, you're on a corner lot there. You're asking for that, you got that corner, the golf court and Orion Terrace that come in that back corner. And I don't know if the planning commission saw that or not when they drew this up, but there's some corner clearances that you must have a line of sight that you can see around. And they're asking for a 10-foot, when I look at this, you're asking for a 30-foot setback, and the pool would be 10 feet from the front property line, and then the fence would be closer than that, correct?
So he has the privacy fence going almost the whole way. Then if you see the southwest corner, there's where the telephone pole is. He doesn't have the fence running on a 45 across that corner, so you would be able to see at the intersection there.
Is the fence a 6-foot fence? Is that what he's planning?
Yes.
That's you need a variance for that.
So, yeah. If-
Or maybe, yeah, he does have 6 foot. No. It's labeled a 4-foot privacy fence.
Okay,
Okay.
4 foot?
Yep.
Okay.
4 foot on the west lot line and the south lot line.
All right, 4 foot you're allowed
Yeah.
on the lot line? Okay, all right.
Mr. Chair,
Walker.
can you tell me how much space there's gonna be between the fence and the pool, the edge of the pool itself?
So it looks like 16 feet, 6 inches. On the, on the south line. And 10 feet on the west line.
Okay. Yeah, I see your drawing here now. I see there's no fence on that corner lot that I was concerned about.
Right.
And it does say 4 foot, so.
Yep.
Okay. That takes care of my concerns on the fencing.
And the only concern I have left is the site, is if there's been any kind of impact that cars would not be able to see and cause an accident. That's the only thing I'm concerned about now. The rest of the stuff, your neighbor agrees, everybody agrees, but it's because it was so small that maybe just because I'm not an architect, I'm not an engineer, I'm not all that stuff, but it was just, I worry about site. Is there any way we can tell Mr. Goodloe from the, if it would be an impact on the site, on the siting?
Let me take a look at it.
I'm looking at his drawing, and that corner that I was concerned about is, there's no fence there on his drawing.
Correct.
Which he can do, because if he has a lockable cover that meets the standards, he would not need to have a fence around the pool. So he may not be putting that there, because I did hear him say that they're having a lockable cover. So that could take away the line of sight issue you have.
That's correct. There is no fence on that corner.
I just saw that.
He is putting in the lockable cover. And I think his plan is to kind of conceal the pool area with landscaping, but still leave a line of sight for the corner there, for the cars coming in both directions.
It indicates zebra grass, I'm not sure what that looks like.
See that?
Yeah, no, that's what it indicates.
What are you looking at,
Zebra
sir?
grass, but I'm not sure what that is.
It's
As the-
ornamental grass. They get, you get them in a 3-gallon container, and a couple years, they'll get 5-6 feet
Okay,
tall.
thank you.
The reason they call them zebra grass is because every so often it has a lighter green color.
Thank you.
Another question for the building inspector.
Yes.
If in fact we were to approve this with, and as part of the approval, it would be the petitioner would be saying there would be a lockable cover, therefore eliminated the need for the fencing, would before final approval from you, would someone go out and look and make sure everything is,
Yes, we have to inspect the lockable cover.
okay, and then at the same time, you would see that, would you see that the fence that we're not giving him is not there, so that wouldn't be a line of sight issue
Yes, we could,
when you went on your inspection?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Definitely could do that.
Sounds good. A condition on the motion, if there's a motion made for that.
Is there anybody in the audience that came specifically to speak to this matter? Okay, thank you.
Is there any letters in the packet? I think there is.
I think there was one letter from a neighbor who had no objection to it, I believe.
Let me read it in the record.
Please, the gentleman has my packet. so-
Normally Tony does that, but he's not here, so.
Would you like your packet back? I
Oh,
think
just
all the
go ahead.
questions-
When you get done with it, I'll take it back.
This is from Lale, L-A-I-L, or L-A-L, yeah, L-A-I-L. Dolly, at 236 Orion Terrace, adjacent property owner. I am in full support of the petitioner, James Garris, and his efforts to install an in-ground pool on his property. And that was dated April 29th, 2022. And
There's a
I think
second letter.
We got another one here, too. April 27, 2022, we are writing in regards to the variance requested by James Garris, 215 Cothman Road, as we are unable to attend the meeting. We are adjacent neighbors of James and have no issues with his request. We feel there would be no problems with his plan for the pool and he wishes to build. This is Justin and Carly Ayers, 1148 Bayfield, Orion Township. And also, the fire marshal has a letter in here of expressing no concerns on this matter regarding this case.
Thank you. If there's nothing additional from the board, we can entertain a motion anytime somebody's ready.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Walker.
in the matter of ZBA case number AB 202215, James Garris, 215 North Conklin Road, Sidwell 0901403014, I would move that the petitioner's, my mouth isn't working, sorry, the petitioner's request for two variances from zoning ordinance number 78, Article 7, Section 6.02N3, one, a 23-foot front yard setback variance from the required 40-foot to install an in-ground pool 16.5 feet from the front property line along the golf court, and two, a 30-foot front yard setback variance from the required 40-foot to install an in-ground pool 10 feet from the front property line along Orion Terrace. Be granted because the petitioner did demonstrate that the following standards for variances have been met in this case, as they set forth facts which show that in this case, the petitioner does show a practical difficulty that due to the uniqueness of the property, and it's not related to the general conditions in the area of the property, that the petitioner's property has actually 3 front yard setbacks, therefore complicating the issue about how much room there is to move in from each of the side yard setbacks. The following are exceptional and extraordinary circumstances or conditions applicable to this property that do not apply to the other properties in the same district or zone. As I indicated, they have 3 front yard setbacks, and the petitioner has indicated that the pool will have a locking top, which will be in place whenever the pool is not being in use.
Correct.
Is that fair?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. The following is necessary for the preservation and enjoyment of a substantial property right possessed by other property in the same area, based upon the fact that they do have the 3 front yard setbacks. And the granting of this variance or modification will not be materially detrimental to the public welfare or materially injurious to the property or to improvements in such zone in which the property is listed. Further, that the granting this variance would not impair inadequate supply of light or air to adjacent properties. It would not unreasonably increase the congestion in public streets. The petitioner has indicated that there would be, the one side will not have a fence on it, and the building department and their final inspection would make sure that there was no line of sight issues from any fence that goes up, along with the installation of the pool. It would not increase the danger of fire or public safety, or in any other way impair the public health, safety, comfort, morals of the township.
Support.
Any further discussion? We have a motion by Mr. Walker, support by Mr. Flood. Please call the roll.
Diane Denaskus,
Yes.
Don Walker,
Yes.
Mike Flood,
Yes.
Dan Durham.
Yes,
Carry.
he's all set. Motion passes. Thank you, sir. It would be nothing tonight.
No, just check in with the building official tomorrow, next day, to see whatever else you might need.
Yeah, they'll need a building application with the plans.
Okay, that's it, nothing special from tonight. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, next one. We have case AB 2216, or 2022-16, Manish and Carrie Sharma at 4320 Newcastle Drive, Sidwell 09-07-351-008. Petitioner seeking one variance from Article 27, Section 27.02, Section 8, lot size over 2.5 acres. The one they're requesting is a 192 square foot variance above the allowed 1,900 square foot maximum floor area of all accessory buildings to build a 660 square foot attached garage. Petitioner, please introduce yourself and let us
Hi.
know.
My name's Tom Inger. I'm representing the homeowners.
Okay? Are the homeowners,
They are
okay.
here.
Well, maybe you know, and if not, you can surrender, one of them can come up. Question came to my mind. I was looking at the materials that were given to us, and they mentioned that there are multiple detached accessory structures on the property. And said upon research, they had found variances in 2001 that were received for the additional square footage of the existing detached structures mentioned above. What I'm curious about, were those variances acted on? Were those buildings expanded?
They were by a previous owner. This homeowner just purchased a property about 9 months ago. So those buildings were already there.
Okay, so as far as you know, they have been expanded?
Yes.
Okay.
They were built. I believe they were built.
Okay, that was before my time, so I have no idea. It's just the way this reads, it almost, when they talk about additional square footage of existing structures, it almost sounded like they wanted to put another piece on something.
Yeah, it was a detached garages out, like over 100 yards away from the house that the previous owner had put in for whatever reason.
Okay, and then one other question, it's gonna sound probably kind of silly. Can you explain the layout of this property to me?
The layout,
Yep. I mean, there's buildings, different places, and there's driveways, and it's quite an involved piece of property by the look of it.
it is, the homeowner may be able to, explain better than I.
Okay,
If you break it, you bought it.
just come on up and identify yourself for the record, please.
Hi, I'm Carrie Sharma. My husband and I bought the house in August of last year.
Okay,
So the property we bought because it's kind of a unicorn property. Initially, it was the first house that was built in the subdivision. It was built in 1901. The property had 10 acres in total amongst 4 lots. It's my understanding that at one point, the lot that we are on that was sold to us with the existing structures and our home were combined to make 5 acres in the middle. We have an incoming new neighbor. They're building on one lot that was sold off just over an acre. And then the gentleman who owns an actual castle down the street from us bought the other 2 lots in between his residence and our existing home. So one of the existing structures on the property was initially a carriage house. And previous owners, I'm not sure if it's, the Gunnaballins were right before us, the Rosses were prior to them. I'm not sure who converted it to a guest house, but my husband and I are both only children. And we thought that, at some point, our parents are getting older and maybe they could live with us without, living with us, and everybody would retain autonomy. So we thought that was a very nice structure because it's a 1-bedroom, a kitchen, a living room. The previous owners were the ones that in 2001 had requested the variance they built a 4-car garage, a football field away from the house. They did not spend very much time in Michigan. They were apparently horse people and spent a tremendous amount of time out west and in Florida. Is the only reason I can think that they would think that building a garage that far in the state of Michigan, where our weather is inclement almost 9 months out of the year, would be a good idea. So that was why we were trying to attach a garage to the home. We have kids that play hockey and such, so we spend a lot of time in and out of the car dragging equipment and whatnot, so.
Does the garage appear on this drawing as the crosshatch building at the back? Somebody drew it in and put a little,
Yeah, that's the new attached garage, and with a 2-story addition behind it. So the 2-story addition doesn't fall into any zone ordinance. There's plenty of lot coverage and everything for the 2-story addition. It's just the attached garage that's attached to the new addition that's going on.
Thank you. And you do know an awful lot about the property for no longer than you've owned it. Impressive.
I'm hoping to learn more. We've been told all kinds of things, that Henry Ford may have built it, and it's my understanding that Clarkston's library has a historical society, so hockey season just ended, ended. It never ends. Hockey season just ended for our twins, so I'm hoping to get, a day somewhere in the near future to go pick someone's mind about what, the rest of the history is of the house, so.
Thank you. Okay, board members.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Flood.
I saw their practical difficulties. They have young children, and they gotta walk over almost 100 yards to their home in the wintertime and inclement weather. But I'll go on the record, these folks shouldn't have to even be here. They're asking for 192 square feet above the allowed 1,900 square feet maximum floor area. They are held, they have 5 acres, 5.2 acres, and they are held to a 2.5 acre limit. And this has been discussed in our township before. You could have 20 acres, you'd still be here. Doesn't make sense, does it? This body has told the township board and the planning commission that this ordinance is out of time and out of whack concerning these big acreage places. You're not the first one to come here. In fact, we got another case later on, same way. To me, your practical hardship is that the ordinance is outdated for such a large piece of property. And I saw the write-up on the previous variances, and it was the same case then. 5 acres, they had to go through all that rigmarole because they don't need to, they need to update that, so. I'll go on record saying that, I'm on the township board, so it's our responsibility, but I have to get 3 or 4 other members to agree with that.
Mr. Naskis?
Just a question, do you plan to keep the garage and the little storage area that was built far away from the home? Is that something you plan, just out of curiosity, to keep up? Yes, please.
So the structure that the previous owners got the variance for, that's the 4-car detached, it's aesthetically pleasing, it's quite lovely. There may be a use for it, like we just bought, big properties new to us, so we just bought like a little riding lawnmower. So things of that nature would probably go in there.
Okay.
There is a metal-ish kind of structure with a carport. The carport's the only thing we use currently. One of our daughters likes to shoot pucks into her a net, and it's a great backdrop for that. But it's somewhat on the unsightly side, so we have a lot of intentions of improving the property with a big focus towards aesthetics and retaining as much to what the historical state of the property would be. So at some point in time, when the funds are available after we would most likely be taking that structure down and maybe just keeping the part where she shoots pucks into, which is really just kind of gives a covered area for that, and we keep our 2 little recycling cans out there. So those would be our hopes down the road.
Mr. Walker?
And, ma'am, not that this is gonna affect my vote, but when you go to the library, they do have a great the whole room is a historical room. And it's a great place for checking up things like that. And if you do it next week, the added bonus is that we are having a big book sale starting May 17th. All the books are 50 cents and $1, so stop in at the book sale when you go check out your historical stuff.
Sounds like a plan.
Oh,
May not want to turn me loose.
you're more than welcome.
Yes, but thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I'm prepared to make a motion.
Okay. Do we have anybody in the audience want to speak to this matter? None, thank you. Mr. Naskis, go ahead, please.
In the matter of ZBA case AB-2022-16, Manish and Carrie Sharma, 4320 Newcastle Drive, lot number 0907351008. I would move that petitioner's request for 1, variance for Article 27-.028, lot size over 2.5 acres. 1, a 192 square foot variance above the allowed 1,900 square feet maximum floor area of all accessory buildings to build a 660 square foot attached garage be granted, because the petitioner did demonstrate that the following standards for variances have been met in this case, and that they set forth facts which show that in this case, there is practical difficulty in that this is a large property, and there is ample space to build the garage. However, the current garage that they have is too far from the home, given the weather conditions in Michigan. It's impractical. And so the garage being attached to the home makes much more sense and is much more practical. The following exceptional or extraordinary circumstances or conditions applicable to the property that do not apply generally to other properties in the same district or zone would be that, again, this property is very large and can easily handle this garage. And again, repeating what I said before, the current garage really would be difficult to service properly the family. The variance is necessary for the preservation and enjoyment of a substantial property right possessed by others in the same zone or vicinity. The granting of the variance modification will not materially be detrimental for the public welfare or materially injurious to the property or to improvements in such zone or district in which the property is located. Further, based on the findings of fact, the granting of this variance would not impair adequate supply of light and air to adjacent properties, would not unreasonably increase the congestion in public streets, would not increase the danger of fire or the public safety, would not unreasonably diminish or impair established property values within the surrounding area, or in any other respect impair the public health, safety, comfort, morals, or welfare of the inhabitants of the township.
I'll support the motion.
Okay. Anything further from the board? Seeing none, we have a motion by Mr. Naskis and supported by Mr. Flood. Please call the roll.
Don Walker,
Yes.
Diane Danaskus,
Yes.
Mike Flood,
Yes.
Dan Durham.
Yes, passed unanimously. You're all set?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome to our community.
Next up, we have case AB 2022-17, Dwayne Anderson at 2455 Armstrong, Sidwell, 09-21-354-002. Petitioner seeking one variance from zoning ordinance 78, Article 6, Section 6.04, zoned R2. The requested article is a 6.28% lot coverage variance above the allowed 25% for a total lot coverage of 31.28% to install a 620 square foot in-ground pool. You have the petitioner. Introduce yourself
My name's Dwayne Anderson.
and let us know what you'd like to do.
I'd like to put an in-ground pool in the backyard. We've talked to some of the neighbors. It seems like they're, for the most part, in agreement. I think there's one neighbor that has a concern behind us, and I think that was more for noise factor. We did talk to him, like, I'm gonna be 54 in 2 weeks. My wife's gonna be 60 in August. So I don't really see the noise being that much of a concern. But that's why we're here to apply for a variance.
You've owned that property for quite some time.
Yeah, it's probably been, let's see, the oldest, is 26, 24, about 23 years.
And it's a nice wide lot, and by the renderings I've seen, you've got room in the back to do what you want to do. And that's about all I have. Board members?
Mr. Chairman, I'll read a letter from the,
Please.
first of all, I want to say, your neighbor right next door to you, to the east, you got a swimming pool, exactly what you want to do, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Are they getting complaints from the neighbor about them using that pool?
I think there was a little bit of some concern. I think, the kids, I think he has some teenage kids, and it's mostly, they're using it during the day. And I think his concern was, hey, keep the noise level down, which, to me, it's the younger kids playing in a pool.
I had a pool for 25 years. I know exactly how pools work.
Sure.
My neighbor had a pool next door to me. I was thinking on a noise factor, we have a noise ordinance, and that's handled through Mr. Goodlow's office. We have no say on, because I noticed they said before that the other neighbor, they had an agreement or something, and I don't know what that was, but what happens if you put a trampoline back there or put a swing set back there? You're gonna have kids playing, right, in your backyard.
That's funny that you say that, Mr.
mean-
Flood, because the neighbor to the right has a trampoline,
Yeah.
and the kids are playing on it.
Kids are kids, they're gonna have fun. I think mainly where you get trouble is the teenagers, where they get their music blaring and that kind of stuff, But I'll read this, I read a letter in the record, Mr. Chairman.
Please.
It was dated May 2nd, 2022, from Bill Kitchener. Good morning. As backyard neighbors of the Andersons, we have known them for many years, and they are great neighbors. We have spoken with them regarding the pool and our objections, and as we expected, they listened to and appreciated our concerns. Because they are such good people, it's hard for us to object to their pool variance, but we feel we must do so for our best interest. As I mentioned to the Andersons, our main objective is based upon the inherent noise factor associated with swimming pools. No matter how diligent a pool owner is with trying to control the noise level, it is our experience that does not work at times go on. Unfortunately, our homes are very close together, and a pool brings the noise issue into play for all the surrounding neighbors. As an example, many years ago, we wanted to be good neighbors, and we did not object to the pool that was built at the home just to the east of the Anderson homes. We expressed our concerns with the HOA about the noise factor, and we were assured by the pool owners that they would control the noise. Unfortunately, once the pool was constructed, the noise promise went away, and our definition of too much noise and the pool owner's definition of too much noise went their separate ways, and hard feelings became frequent. Another issue is that the Andersons could sell their home in the future, and the new owners would have no knowledge or any promises made regarding the pool. And it goes on, it's about the same kind of thing, so. They say if we lived in our location for 44 years, we take pride in being part of a great community. During the 44 years, we've had many neighbors, we try to be good neighbors. As mentioned before, it pains us to object. And that was Bill and Linda Kirchner, 2460 Gemini Drive, Lake Orion. And I don't see any other letters in the packet.
Thank you. Mr. Goodlow.
See, there's a 6-foot easement on the back. What is that? Is that the drainage easement or is that a utility?
Actually, I'm not sure. I know where the pool is. I think the actual start of the pool from the back of the property is gonna be approximately, I wanna say it's 16 feet from the back of the property. I know we do have like the cable boxes and everything of that nature in the far corner.
That's your easement.
Yeah.
So utility
I
easement?
think it's just underground cables,
Yeah, so,
boxes in that corner, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
in
I
the
was just-
far corner.
yeah, that's what you know,
Not sewer or water,
it doesn't look like a
I think
drainage
it's the
easement. That's,
cable boxes and
yeah.
things of that nature.
as you know, the board knows, I'm always aware, try to be aware of the drainage issues. That's one of the biggest complaints we get, and that's why I asked that question.
Thank you. I would ask if we have any public comment on this question, but we only see one gentleman. We have one case left, so probably not.
Hopefully my wife doesn't object.
I was gonna make mention of that. but
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't, didn't know.
One question, what kind of fencing are you gonna put around that one?
We're gonna look to put like a 4-foot privacy fence. I mean, that was also.
Similar to what the neighbor next door's got, the wrought iron?
Yeah, just
That
consideration
looks attractive.
to keep the noise levels as low as we can.
Lock, well, you have to do the codes anyway, you have to have
Yep.
the lock gate and all that
Correct,
stuff, so.
correct.
Or self-locking gate.
Yep.
Ms. Walker?
Did I tell you, I'm sorry, pardon me, did I say the fire marshal had no concern with this too? This case?
You did not.
Just in case I didn't, I just said it.
Thank you.
No, you did. Mr. Chair?
Mr. Walker?
In the matter of ZBA case AB 202217, Dwayne Anderson, 2455 Armstrong, Sidwell 0921354002, I would move that petitioner's request for one variance for zoning ordinance number 78, Article 6, Section 6.04, zoned R2, one, a 6.28% lot coverage variance above the allowed 25%, for a total lot coverage of 31.28, to install a 620 square foot in-ground pool be granted because the petitioner did demonstrate that the following standards for variances have been met in this case, and they set forth facts which show that in this case, due to the unique characteristics of the property, and in addition, his neighbor has a very similar pool, the petitioner indicated that he would be putting, surrounding the pool with a 4-foot wire, wrought iron, I don't want to say things that you didn't say.
Yep, wrought iron
Wrought iron fence. And the variance is necessary for the preservation and enjoyment of a substantial property right possessed by other property in the same zoning or vicinity, and the granting of the variance or modification will not be detrimental, will not be material detrimental to the public welfare or materially injurious to the property. Further, it will not impair an adequate supply of light or air to adjacent property. It will not unreasonably increase the congestion in public streets, or pursuant to the fire marshal, increase the danger of fire or endanger public safety, or in any other respect, impair the public health, safety, comfort, morals, or welfare of the township.
I will offer support. Support by, or motion by Mr. Walker, supported by myself. Anything further by the board? Please call the roll.
Mike Flood,
Yes.
Don Walker,
Yes.
Diane Denaskus,
Yes.
Dan Durham.
Yes. Motion passes unanimously. You're on your way.
Sounds good, thank you, guys.
Good day.
Thank you.
Next, we have case AB 2022-18, Jeff Hanson at 3936 Maybe Road, Sidwell 09-30-200-037. Petitioner seeking one variance from Article 27, Section 27.02, subsection 8, lot over 2.5 acres. A 476 square foot variance above the allowed 1,400 square foot maximum floor area of all detached accessory buildings to add a 968 square foot addition to a 440 square foot garage and an existing 468 square foot carport. Hi, introduce yourself.
Yep, my name's Jeff Hanson, and the variance is mainly for the existing carport, because the garage isn't really, it's only 6 inches over the 1,400 square feet. So, I mean, if you need me to make it 6 inches less, I will, but, so it's mainly for the carport, and that was there when I bought the house. But it's very convenient, so that's kind of why I'm asking to keep it. And it's way back in the woods, you can't even see, you can see it from one direction on Maybe Road, and I'm gonna actually paint it dark green, so you really won't even be able to see it, you know, unless you're really looking between the houses.
We've been over there before and some of those other lots for different things.
Yeah.
And they always remind me of being laid out for a rifle range. They're narrow and
Yeah.
really, really deep.
Right, right.
So you've got a lot of depth that you can use, but it gets really thick back there. The building you want to put up, it's essentially going to be dead in line with the building that's up there now.
Yeah.
Thank you. Members of the board, Mr. Naskis.
I have a question, and this goes back, in our first case, they were also asking for a similar variance. But on that case, it was for a lot size over 2.5 acres and allowed 1,900 square feet. Is it, and this one is 1,400, is because this one is smaller than the other one, even though they're both over 2.5? I'm not sure why this one requires a variance.
They were attached, right?
Because it's detached, I think.
Yeah, yeah, you
The other piece-
detached and attached, that's the difference. Yeah. I believe so.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
And just like this gentleman, the previous case was, these are what we call the long bowling alley lots, and they're quite prevalent on this side of the town, on the west side of the township over there, all along Walden, Morgan, Brown Road, all that. And if you recall, we did grant the previous owner a variance on that property to put that little privacy fence that he put on there, a little corner privacy fence.
Was that the same piece of ground?
It's the same location.
I knew it was over there someplace in
Yeah,
one of
yeah.
those.
Well, I'm very familiar with this house. I know the people who originally built that. That's how, you know, when I'm 100 years old, I know that kind of stuff. But, no, I was just gonna say, this gentleman's in the same position on this. He's got over 4 acres, and we get a lot of these now.
Mr. Walker, anything on your mind?
I was gonna say, we've approved the last 3, so we must want to deny you. We can't go a perfect 4-0.
Sure you
We're
can.
not Miggy Cabrera here. What is this?
No, I mean, I never even thought about a carport, but once I moved in and like, it's there, it's
Yeah.
super convenient, you know?
I had one at my old house before I came to the township, and that was the first thing I did when I moved into the township, was put one up. Because it gives you covered storage.
Get a variance?
No. Probably one of those beg forgiveness guys.
I'm prepared to make a motion if anybody from the audience wants to make a comment.
Feel free if you're ready.
Well, I wanted to say that, but anybody in the audience wants to make a comment. I don't want Mr. McNabb getting on me.
Claude, for anybody that's old enough, Claude Rains is sitting back. You get that joke?
I know who he is.
I got you.
All right, thank you.
I got you. Mr. Chairman, in the matter of ZBA case AB 2022-18, Jeff Hanson, 3936 Maybe Road, Sidwell number 09-30-200-037. I would move that petition request for one variance from Article 27.02.8, lot size over 2.5 acres, again, One, a 476 square foot variance above the allowed 1,400 square foot maximum floor area of all detached accessory buildings to add a 968 square foot addition to a 440 square foot garage and an existing 468 square foot carport to be granted, because the petitioner did demonstrate that the following standards for variances have been met in this case, and they set forth facts which show that in this case, the petitioner does show the following practical difficulty. Number one is he has a 4-acre parcel zoned suburban farms, and the request is well within the scope of that size of a property in this township. The following are exceptional or extraordinary circumstances or conditions applicable to the property involved that do not apply generally to other properties in the same vicinity. The gentleman wants to keep his carport, which has to be included in this calculation. The variance is necessary for preservation enjoyment of substantial property right possessed by other property in the same vicinity, based on the following as a fact. He's going to connect that building in line with his other building, and you won't even hardly see it from the road. Like I said, he has that long 4 acres. The granting of the variance or modification will not be materially detrimental to the public welfare or materially interest to the property or to improvements of such zone or district in which the property is located, based on the following findings of fact that I just previously stated. Further, based on the following findings of fact, and granting of this variance would not impair an adequate supply of light and air to the adjacent property, unreasonably increase the congestion in public streets, increase the danger of fire or endanger the public safety, and the fire marshal has no concerns in this matter on this case, unreasonably diminish or impair established property values within surrounding areas, in fact, it would probably increase the property value, or in any other respect impair the public health, safety, comfort, morals, or welfare of the inhabitants of the Charter Township of Orion.
Motion by Mr. Flood, supported by Mr. Danaskis. Anything additional by the board? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Diane Danaskis?
Yes.
Don Walker?
Yes.
Mike Flood?
Yes.
Dan Durham?
Yes. You're all set? Pass unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Night, whatever. All right, moving right along. Public comments. We're out of public. Communication, you guys probably got the same thing from Lynn about the planning and zoning training. I know at one time, I haven't looked, there was going to be a video version. That's probably the one I'll do myself. Also, it's been cropping up on my feed that I still haven't completed my quarterly computer training. That's out there too, if you guys haven't seen it or got them finished. Beyond that, anybody else?
I've had a lot of time to sit around the last 6 weeks. I got all my stuff caught up on my computer.
I bet. Yeah, but you probably didn't feel like getting
No.
stuff.
I'll get a plug-in for the library.
Please.
The sale, I tried to get those folks to show up. I think it's Tuesday through Saturday, next week. Lots and lots of books, really, really cheap. And we need volunteers too, by the way. Maybe you people need, you get community service hours for school, Mike, maybe you need to, or something.
Okay.
Look forward to a sale, look forward to everybody showing up.
Thank you. Worthy cause. Anything additional?
Nothing?
Committee reports? You got anything?
No, but I have good news to tell you.
Please.
After we got beat up last week, I've had numerous neighbors that live on Judah Road personally want to thank this board for closing that pit out. They said starting last summer, late summer, and this spring is the first time, some of these neighbors have lived there for 50 years over. They've been able to enjoy that part of the township without hearing all those gravel trucks.
No trucks?
No trucks pounding up and down that gravel road. So they wanted, personally on them, I want to make sure you guys were, thank you. And OHM for making sure that that was done right.
Thank you for bringing it forward, because as contentious as it was left, we knew we did the right thing, but it's nice hearing from the people that it affects.
Yep.
So that's a good thing. Any additional member comments? Anybody got anything on their mind?
I move to adjourn.
Let's do it. I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
We're done. Thank you.